Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Inforunners. And today we are going to be talking about the Aries. And today I am joined by Execute and Seer. How are you guys doing today?
I'm great, thank you.
All right.
So, what are your guys' first impressions on this ship? I mean, it's a rather unique ship.
You go first, Sue.
I mean, it's Crusader's industry, so what is there not to love about it?
Asymmetry.
For those that don't know, Crusader is Sue's favorite manufacturer. My first impression was like, wow, that's a really big gun, and I've heard a few people talking about a ship that was just a giant gun, and that's literally what this ship is. It is. I even think I was surprised it actually even had the missiles on it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a very unique fighter. I don't think you'd see this type of fighter in many other games, to be honest. That was my first impression. What about you, Dasein?
About time. I have been complaining that they build ships around the rule of cool. They build the design and then put guns on. In this case, it's like, yes, let's pick what gun we want to put on this thing, what we wanted to do, and build it around the weapons.
So like
Hallelujah.
the A10 basically.
Yes. So
build the plane around the gun.
yes, which is a good philosophy in my opinion.
Fair enough.
All right then. So, is this ship a game changer in your guys' eyes? How do you find that it's, I don't know, definitive role, and what do you think of the two variants, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask in short. Dasein.
Well, I think this ship is unique. It's going to fulfill its role, but I don't think it's like a be-all, end-all ship.
Agreed.
Because if you look on the forums, they're blowing up right now like, this ship breaks the game. And I'm thinking, no, it just provides a new tactical option for the game.
I don't know about, before Sarah answers, sorry to interrupt, but I find it's very much rock, paper, scissors. I actually can see a lot of smaller fighters will take this out. So this takes on the capital ships, and it gives something for the small fighters in a way to kind of protect the larger capital ship, because it's usually the capital ship that will be protecting them. So it's just an interesting dynamic for me. So what about you, Sia? What do you think about it? Is it a game changer for you and the variants? What do you
It's a game changer for me in the terms of I really don't have a reason to keep my Harbinger anymore, in my opinion. I wanted a reason to melt it, and I still kept it because I would like to do a really in-depth review on it. But I bought both of them because now I really don't need the Harbinger. Not at all. I did not care about the torpedoes. They helped, but that's going to be a different case.
Yeah.
And no, I do not think it's a game. I don't think it's a game breaker at all. Like, no, not at all. And I'll dive into that once we get into the actual nitty-gritty.
But what about a game changer? Is it a game changer, or is it just something new for you?
I feel like it's a game changer in terms of we have something that provides us the ability to take down larger vessels, like legitimately, because at first it was supposed to be the vanguards, and those are in a very interesting spot. Don't get me wrong, it provides the DPS, but literally this thing has it's basically BFG. It just has one big gun.
I agree with that. All right, well let's break it down a little bit into the variants then. So let's start out with the Ion. What role do you boys see that fulfilling in your eyes? What is
support role?
Yep, and
I'll just say it right away.
Yep, and
backline sniper.
Yep. That's kind of like I kind of see one as kind of like the medium to long range, and the other like the medium to short range. That's kind of how I see it. I think this is kind of going to get picked off a bit if it goes too close. That's my forte. Is that the same thing?
You're right.
Reflected in your thoughts as well? Dasein, do you agree with me and Sia? Is it going to get picked off if it goes in?
Oh, definitely, because the two things that I really think that stand out that a lot of people haven't been thinking about is this thing's probably going to fly not that maneuverably. So it's going to be very brickish. Plus, two, not only the DPS, but it's a non-gimbaled weapon that's huge. So trying to line that up is going to take a lot of skill. And if anyone tries to use it as a fighter, you better be a top tier fighter to be able to aim that thing.
I'm expecting it to fly somewhat, well, both of them actually, to fly somewhat similar to the Harbinger Freelancer type of thing, slightly sluggish. So I don't think this thing's gonna easily be able to come to bear on a fighter, as an example, because it's only got that one fixed size gun. So fighters are really gonna be the bane of this thing's existence, in my opinion. Do you guys agree with that, or do you think it will be something else?
Skill
I mean,
based.
that was the points I brought up beforehand. So I mean, yeah, I agree.
Okay. Should we talk about the Inferno then as well? What do you see that's role being? If the Ion support, then what do you see the Inferno being?
So this one is an interesting one, but I mean, to be very clear, even though I understand it's in the name, this is not a fighter. It's not. It is a support attack ship. That is what it is. Don't think that this thing is designed to be in a knife fight. Sure, you can take any ship you want and try to get into a knife fight, but will you come on top? It depends on your skill of both pilots or various other factors in the equation we're talking about. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, the Inferno is an attack vessel. You can try to go into a dogfight if you want. It said it will shred a light fighter theoretically, but it's up to you to have the skills necessary to line up the shot and get that kill.
Yeah.
So without that being said, I still think again this provides you just a little bit more flexibility, because instead of you being that long range sniper, you can get in a little bit closer because you
Yep.
have better armor. You sacrifice. So we'll talk about the pros and cons of each one pretty quick, but you
Yep.
can get in closer because you have that armor, and you have a Gatling gun that shoots 1900 rounds a minute, correct?
Mhm.
The RPM is about 1900 rounds.
Yeah,
So
I'm in that vicinity anyway.
pretty fast. You're putting a lot of suppressive fire down range. So even if you're taking a straight shot to somebody, you're gonna make them hurt a lot,
Just getting
not
back,
just a little bit.
just
Yeah.
getting back to your point on the ammo, I've had a few people speculate that why the Inferno is missing a few of the components is to hold all that ammo, and that makes a lot of sense to
Yes,
me. That'll
and
obviously be
because it has the extra armor too.
the two different sides of the coin.
Mhm.
Where this one, the Ion's going to have unlimited armor, but slow firing, where the Blister's faster firing, but a limited amount, and that balances it very naturally. So Dyson, for you, the Inferno.
Style
Your
over
thoughts?
substance.
Right.
Honestly, I much prefer the Ion.
Right.
I'm just going to say that from a role perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because while it allows you to get closer, I really don't see the need to get that close, because that's really, I feel like the other fighters cover that.
Yep.
They cover that closer, and I can see the Vanguard covering that more knife fighting range while still keeping that type of DPS. I feel like you'll lose what this ship is supposed to be doing.
Now, I'm not up with my military ship names, but is it the Warthog A10, that big grey
The
one?
A10 Warthog,
It's got that
yes.
massive minigun thing on it. That's what
33
this
millimeter.
reminds. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of this. And I can see this ship doing like strafing runs on tanks and ballistas and stuff like that. And I think the strength of this ship, but you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong, I think it's going to be more in the air to surface.
Close air support.
Yeah, that's what I see it. And taking stuff out that, like, oh, we've got a tank, guys, can you come in and take it out? But that's I see it acting like that A10 Warthog. I don't know. See it? Do you think that that's a possibility, or no? I'm totally off the mark, and I'm not a military guy, so that's just my thoughts.
Well, first, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay it.
Mhm.
The most important part about these ships, or any ships of the matter, is take the marketing bullcrap out of the equation and look at the stats, look at what you really think you can do with this ship. Because I'm tired of the whole market wall they put in front of it to make it look like this ship is, oh my gosh, the potential. Let's look at the stats and look at the facts. So I think yes, it could be good for close air support, but also being a medium-sized ship, it's going, and with a huge gun, regardless if it's a ballistic one or not, I believe it's going to, one, overheat a lot because it also has less components compared to the Ion, and one of those is being the coolers as well. So I think it's going to overheat pretty quick, which means you're going to have to do a quick strafing run. And I feel like this will be a prime target for a ballista. And even with the size 5 torpedoes, I think the aerodynamics of it
Yep.
is not going to be anything crazy. It's going to be sluggish in atmosphere as well. So while, yes, I think it can do close air support, again, that leaves it very vulnerable for anything else to shoot at it and lay into it. Obviously, it has the armor. So I will say yes in this sense that I feel like this could do the role of close air support probably better than the Harbinger in terms of in terms of getting in, getting out, and doing some heavy damage.
Okay.
Mm.
So how do you both feel about the complement of the torpedoes and missiles? Do you think that adds to some of the roles that this ship has been assigned? So, for example, the close air support is an example. The taking of capital ships and stuff like that. Do you find that those are appropriate for that, or do you think they'll be more likely used for defenses? How do you find that that complement fits in ship? Is what I'm asking.
I'll let you go first because I already know what I'm going to say, Dawson.
Well, I'd like to say while these missiles can be used, I honestly think either or, but it feels definitely more defensive oriented because that's those size missiles, size 5s, that's not really going to be good against its prey per se. It's going to be better against the fighters that it's shooting at that's coming towards it. But honestly, I don't like the missiles. I would much rather have those type of missiles maybe on the not the Ion, but why is it escaping me right now?
Okay. What the Eclipse is that the one you're talking about?
No,
I don't know.
the one with the Gatling.
Freelancer miss?
Oh, the
the
Inferno.
Inferno.
Sorry, yeah, it doesn't
The
roll off the
Inferno.
tongue. It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Because the Inferno, if you want to use it like an A10, the missiles make sense for knocking out tanks. I feel like for the Ion though, it would be much better suited by having just like a sidearm, even if it's just like a couple a few size 2s on the side, just to say, hey, it's a sidearm. If something gets close, you're not going to be good at dogfighting, but you got a better chance than nothing.
Okay, and Sia, how do you find the missiles and torpedoes complement the ship?
Okay, so let's take a look at the stats again. So it has 4 size 5 hard points, but with that being said, this is the important part. 2 of those are bespoke, and only 2 of those racks are modular, and this is for both kinds. So with that out of the way, it has a mixture. I believe it has size 3 missiles in it, and I would have to look again at the brochure, and I should probably bring it up since we're doing a buyer's guide. So with that being said, while I bring it up, so the thing about the missiles is that if I'm flying and doing close air support, then in my head, the reason why I would ever have size 5s is to defend myself from ships of equal size. Because a size 5 will hurt something like a Freelancer miss, a Vanguard, or a Cutlass, anything that is like maybe a little bit bigger than me, okay. But if I'm going against a Retaliator or anything else, sure, it's gonna help. It's gonna help if you're able when you're able to finally, and I mean finally, select what missile you have, and then instead of you shooting a missile and hoping to God it's the right one you want, you can actually go into your MFD, select the missile you want, and actually shoot it. And then you can actually do a high volley DPS. That's why I think it's 4. But for me personally, what I would do is I would rip out the 2 size 5 modular racks, and I would since you have a size 5 rack, that means you can put 8 size 2s. You following? So that's 8 size 2s per rack. So that's a lot of missiles. You can theoretically use like 16 rattlers if you would like to. But of course, this is Seer. I'm the one that always does stupid crap like that because I like testing stuff. But I mean, rather than, and that's on top of all the other missiles that you're going to get that are bespoke. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I don't have it up right now, and I'm not going to try to waste time to get it up.
That's fine.
But I mean, that's the important part. It doesn't matter what it currently has because as the player, you will be able to swap things in and out and make it the ship that you want it to be. So I'm talking about, so I look at the hard points. I don't look at the missile, so to speak, except for the main gun, which is obviously going to be bespoke too.
All right, so to segue, I'm just going to quickly say I agree with both of you. I think the missiles and torpedoes speak volumes about defense. And you were talking about changing of missiles. So let's talk about the guns being bespoke and not being able to be changed. What do you think that has, or what connotations do you think that has for this ship? Because I think it's kind of drastic, personally. But Dyson, do you want to go first and tell me what you think about that?
I have no problem with it because it just fits the nature of the design.
Right. You don't think it would be cool though that if you could say change between the laser and the Gatling, like just as an example?
I don't see that as possible. Because I when you look at it, think about the Inferno. it has probably extra ammo carriers and stuff around that.
Mm.
You try plopping that on to the Ion, and you're gonna be at a disadvantage. Same thing if you put that giant laser cannon on a ship that's not equipped with the extra power plants and coolers.
So what if the modules were? What if the components are modular? So you can put on the components you need for the laser. You can put on the components you need for the Gatling gun. Do you think
I
that they?
don't see that.
Do you think they should have done this as one ship that was interchangeable, almost like Bucks on the Vanguard, or do you reckon it's
No,
just how it is?
just doesn't fit
Right.
lore, especially lore wise. It just doesn't fit the design of a ship if you're designing it.
Okay. Seerthe, your thoughts on the bespoke weapons?
I 100% believe they're bespoke because there's no way CIG's marketing team would want to be able to buy one ship.
It's
They would
exactly
want you
my
to be able
thoughts.
to buy. I'm sorry, but it's the straight up truth. Like,
Mhm.
Yep.
think of, and per lore, it doesn't make sense either. Like, I already had this in my head before John Crew even said it.
Mm.
Like, it makes sense. This thing has more components, the Ion at least, because it needs to be able to draw that power, draw the more cooling, and then it needs the higher shields as well, so it can at least have a fighting chance, and when it's trying to take on a capital ship. And then obviously, since it doesn't, and since ballistics don't have as much as a power draw from other, like, excuse me, compared to energy based weapons, then you're not going to need all the extra stuff. You need a ship only needs what it's going to need. So if you made them modular, that means that how you're gonna fit all that extra stuff inside the Inferno when it's supposed to have armor. When it has armor, that means it's taking up more space.
Yep.
That means if you were to throw more components on it, would make it even heavier and would throw off all the center of gravity and all other bull crap, which we shouldn't even get into. So no, I don't think it should be I think it's bespoke. I don't think this is going to be modular. Of course, CIG can do whatever hand wavium crap they always do when it comes to answering specific questions and say, yes, this will be modular. But I don't think this is going to necessarily be modular, because if it was, they would have addressed it before they had people buy it and before the excuse me, and before they released it for concierge and first wave or everybody else to buy it.
All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is probably going to be I shouldn't say probably, has been hotly debated, but I do want to be quick and clear on this. I don't want to get into a kind of argument about it, but I do want to talk about the Eclipse, because I do know a lot of people were melting the Eclipse to buy this ship, and I know Seer thinks very strongly about this. That they are very different roles, believe it or not. Do you want to explain, Seer, or would you rather other people talk about it?
I'll explain.
Go ahead.
Sorry if you guys are tired of hearing my voice. I
No,
know
it's
I
fine.
had a long day at work and I'm a little bit tired, but I love this. So, okay, the Eclipse is a short-range, small recon ship that has 3 size 9 torpedoes. Why I do not believe it's a capital ship killer is because, one, 3 size 9 torpedoes don't even kill a hammerhead. So if it doesn't even kill a hammerhead, then and once you shoot all 3, you're done. You got to go back to whatever means you have to go rearm. This could be expensive compared to the Ion. You deploy it, you have a unlimited amount of ammo. You just shoot slow, so you can pelt till you finally blow the thing up. So already right there, boom, that's 1. 2, the Ion okay, think about it. All electronic components radiate EM signature. In this game, EM is one of the main and one of the higher signatures you're always going to have. If you have 3 coolers, 2 power plants, and 3 shield generators, and then a big ass freaking size 7 gun, you're gonna be radiating all over the place.
Loud and
They're
proud,
2
that
totally
one.
different ships. Without me getting into all the technicals, these are 2 totally different ships that can play a similar role. For me, the Eclipse is a recon ship that can also prioritize high value targets, because you can easily one-shot a Vanguard and stuff. And then the trade-off is, this ship, you have to get within half of the distance of what the Eclipse would be. So if I see a Vanguard in the Eclipse, I can be 15 to 20 kilometers out and launch a missile, and then I'm out. For this, I have to be within 7,000 or maybe 8,000 meters, and the Vanguard can clearly see me by then, and they can start flying toward me and engaging me. And they're just 2 different types of ships. This ship does not counter that ship, and they're both very niche at what they do. They both play similar lore, but for the love of God, people, please, it does not mitigate the Eclipse at all, because guess what? You can kill this ship with the Eclipse, I bet.
Yeah.
If you can kill a Vanguard with the Eclipse, I guarantee you're going to be able to kill this ship with the Eclipse. Because guess what? Its radar's not going to be able to pick up a small size ship from that far away if you're 15 to 20 kilometers out, unless you ping scan.
Now I want to
Might
check.
I
That's
also
all I'm going to say. I'm done.
You go for it
I'll
first,
shut up.
Dyson.
I just want to also add Alpha Strike. There's a
Mhm.
big difference. If you have 3 of these and 3 eclipses, you're going to be able to, in theory, Alpha Strike a target before it can really do anything. With this, you'll be sitting there pecking away at it. Yes, you'll kill it eventually, but it's the difference in time.
Yeah, kind of like
Exactly.
sustain versus burst type of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
They're two totally different
I want to
ships.
add one more ship into the fray here, and I've heard a few streamers arguing about this ship and the Hurricane. Now, the Hurricane mathematically, according to them, does 30% more damage, but they haven't really taken into account this big gun and shields and stuff like that. And they also haven't
Yeah,
taken
but you
into...
need 100% more people. You need
That's
double
exactly
the
what I was
people.
about to say. Yeah, so you could technically have 2 of these. I know there's a cost factor in it because the Hurricane is cheaper. So you'd almost probably get 3 Hurricanes to 2 of these. But then you got to have the people to man them. So
And range, like you have range, and it's a
And then
glass
you're a
cannon.
small ship.
That
You're a
ship's
small ship. You don't have range.
Yep.
Which is another thing I want to discuss, which was
Yep.
long range, but I'll
Yep.
get to that in a
That
second.
was the next thing I was about to bring up, and it's good segues. So yeah, now, when you do compare things like the Hurricane and the Eclipse, this ship appears to go further than both of them.
Yeah, because they're small-sized ships. This is a medium-sized ship
Exactly.
with medium-sized tanks and components. You can put a crossfield in there, and that is one of the most popular medium-sized quantum drives currently. But obviously in 3.8, I've heard so many things about quantum drive, and quantum travel, so this could be thrown out the window. But like, regards to that, I think this is not that long of range because, correct me if I'm wrong, the Vanguard has 2 fuel tanks compared to this one, or does it only have 1?
I don't know.
Or
answer your question.
even okay, fine. Then I would have to go look on the
Yeah, I
website,
haven't
which
looked
is a
myself
terrible
on that.
way. Well, let's just assume it has 1.
Yep.
Then if the Vanguard only has 1 hydrogen and quantum fuel tank, just like this, then guess what? They both have the same range.
Yep.
Just kind of like the freelancers do, because they're medium-sized ships too, which they can put on the same components. So long range, like, ooh, hand wavium. Sorry, the marketing scheme again.
Can one of you boys open that while we go on to the next point and find out whether it does have 1 or 2? That'd be
Sure,
great.
I'll do it because I was the one who brought it up.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm not the
Yeah,
stats
boom,
guy,
right
by the
here.
way.
Also want to add,
I literally pulled it up right now. Sorry. According to the ship matrix, the magical thing that you should never look at for ship stats, it says that the Vanguards, all of them, have 2 medium fuel tanks.
Yep, there you go.
So it means that it can have a longer loiter time.
Mhm.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to have a longer quantum travel range,
true.
because they all have 1 medium quantum drive and they all have 1 medium quantum tank.
That's the
quantum
strength.
fuel tank.
That's the strength of the Vanguard. It's got like double redundancy on almost every single component. Not every one, but almost every single one.
it's
So
also
yeah,
got beds.
yeah,
Like that's a biggie
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
another thing.
yeah. So
But
this
the Vanguard's more.
it's a
Vanguard's
long
more of
range
like an
heavy
entry
fighter.
level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a long range. This is going to be a more beefy, combat-y type style fighter. I already find that this has got more combat appeal to me than the Warden. Or the Vanguard, sorry, because it's only got a size. It's got a fixed and gimbaled, and it's only got a size 5. Why would you take a size 5 and you're forced to use fixed when you can come and use this? You know, so
Yeah.
that's just my, you know,
Well-
and when I mean forced to use fixed, I'm talking about the nose guns on the Vanguard. That's what I'm specifically talking about. I'm very salty about those nose guns. Let's just leave it at that. Sorry,
Yeah.
Dyson, you were gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say, when you look at it, it's again 2 different roles for 2 different ships.
Yep.
But the big thing to remember is this ship is not a solo ship.
Yep.
And that's something else that people need to think when looking at buying this. Are you going to be hanging out with people that have the capability to defend you in this?
Yep.
Because if
Squadron or wingman type of analogy, I assume you're going for there, yeah?
yes, because you're going to need some fighters. Plus, I don't think one of these is going to take out a capital ship.
No.
You're going to need a couple of them, because
If you look at the refresh rate alone, you're going to... there was a guy I was talking with that was doing a lot of math, and he literally said you would need at least 4 just to start weakening it. just the shields alone. So that's kind of scary.
Yep.
Of an Ion, four Ions at size 7. So I honestly think where this ship is going to, like, they call it a cap ship killer. I think honestly for me it's more of a constellation, like the large size ships.
I would say Hammerhead at least.
I actually think it is a cap ship killer, but you use them in a squadron, like doing standing back, shooting while your other fighters and bombers do their stuff. So
Yeah.
I see it as a massive team effort.
Yes. But
I see this as a tank destroyer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like if that's like literally what a tank destroyer is.
Yeah, I think it could take on, say, something like a constellation with just itself and maybe one or two other fighters is what I'm trying to get at. Like, you would only need one of these to help kill a constellation, but with a
Right.
you would need a squadron or a small fleet to take on the capital ship. Much like in the, believe it or not, the marketing materials photo, it had like 2 or 3 of each of these ships going up against a black pirate Idris. So yeah,
and they both complement each other too. That's an important thing.
They do.
One takes out the shields, and one can pierce shields and do some heavy hitting to the whole of the ship.
Yep. That's very important. All right, let's get on to our recommendations then. So, I'm going to start out by saying I don't think this ship is for everyone. Much like some of the other ships we mentioned. Yeah, like many ships, much like the Hurricane and the Eclipse we mentioned today. I think you really want to think about what your role is in the game, what ships that you want to, like what role you would like to do, and if this ship speaks to you, as in you want to be able to have that specialist kind of combat role, but you have other friends that you're going to play with, then this might be a ship for you. Dasein. What's your suggestions and thoughts on people that you think that would want this ship, or do you think it's just a total shit ship and no one should get it?
I think it's a great ship for what it does. Big thing is, you just have to keep in mind it is not a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wanting Alpha Strike, look at a different ship.
And what, just really quickly, if you want Alpha Strike, what are the ships you should look at real quick, or just give us an example?
Great example is actually the Eclipse that we were talking about.
Yep.
It's good Alpha Strike for a ship. It has some stealth. Another ship that I would actually say is actually fairly good would actually be a Retaliator. And it's not too far off price wise.
Is there another just real quick before I cut to see? Is there another ship that you think this ship is like, or is this ship really unique? I'll take that as that this ship is really unique. All right, Seerthe, your thoughts and suggestions on who you think this is for.
My final thoughts: the Ion is more of the support role, and the Fredo is more of the attack role. Both of them overall, they can. I feel like the Ion, you definitely need support. I feel like the Inferno, if you got really good with that gun, then you can probably take on a couple things by yourself. But rather than that, if you're taking on anything bigger, then of course you're going to need support. The only ship that comes to mind that is similar and not even like off the wall, honestly, the Saber can equally do like the same kind of damage with its 4 size 3s compared to your 1 size 7, honestly. Yep. And it's a stealth fighter as well. Yep. But it's one of the best, in my opinion, the Saber is probably one of the best fighters we have in game. It's ridiculously good with the handling and everything. But all points aside, if you're super uneasy about this ship, then just don't buy it. Because then you can just ask somebody to fly it in game. You can ask somebody to fly it in game.
Or earn it in game.
Or if you just like Crusader's industry like me, then fine, then get it. And if you don't like it, when it's finally flyable in game, because even though they've, correct me if I'm wrong, they said many times that, oh, from here on out, we're going to try our best to do straight to flight ready.
They did.
So I don't know if this is going to be a surprise within the 3.8.x release or not. If it's not, then fine. But it would be really, really nice to see an actual Crusader ship in the game instead of giving us concepts. Like, that's all I want. Give Crusader.
Last question. Seerthe, I'm going to start with you. If you could only have one of these ships, which one would you? Inferno. And Dasein, same question. If you could only have one.
Ion.
All right. So they're polar opposite. I'd probably
have you.
Oh, it's a tough one for me because it's like you said, they both cater for different roles, and I
choose wisely.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go in Ion as well because I'm more of that support role player, but that's just me. Yeah, I know you hate me.
You chose poorly.
Jeez, if looks could kill, salty. Right. Yes. Yeah. All right, so Let us know in the comments what you think of both the Ion and the Infernal. Inferno. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It's a terrible name. Anyway, let us know your thoughts and comments in the. Did you buy one? Do you think it's too niche? What problems do you have with it? What things do you like about it? Do you like the bespoke weapons? Do you like the loadout of torpedoes? Is it an interesting loadout, or is it a bad loadout? Did you guys pick one up? Did you pick up a CCU? Things like that. I know I picked up a CCU. You picked up both of them, didn't you? Yep.
I did.
And
But CCUs, I didn't buy them outright.
Yep, cool. There you go. And Dyson, did you pick one up?
Nope.
Yep. There you go. So there you go. That's our thoughts. If you like this video, like this video. If you dislike this video, you know what to do.
Sell your fighters.
Right. You're not helping me. Join us on Discord. Discord's been really going off since the anniversary sale. We've got a lot of people on there talking. Every couple of days, we have a little get-togethers and talk. I had a really good talk about this when it came out, as an example. Have I missed anything? Oh, Patreon. Yeah, if you like these videos, please support us on Patreon. We've got a couple of people backing us on that now, and every little bit, even $1 a month, really makes a big difference. It's helping us get our quality up. We recently, example, got Dasein a brand new green screen, so his quality of his video is now even better than mine. Bitch. Right. Right. Anyway, that's been the Aries Buyer's Guide. He's been Dasein. He's been Seerthe, and I'm Execute, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See you around.
Just realised you should have done the outro, not me. Terrible.
Shut up.